Yeah. I don't know about you, but it took me a long time to learn how to snap. So many people tried to show me how to do it. I just couldn't do it. So sometimes when I try to do it, it actually doesn't really work. Is 40 too late to start over? If you're asking this question, let me tell you something that might make you a bit uncomfortable. The question itself reveals how deeply you've been programmed to believe that women over 40 are expired goods. Hi, I'm Keisha Dent. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I'm here to help dismantle this lie. So here's what nobody tells you about turning 40. This isn't the beginning of your decline. This is your resurrection. That emptiness that you might feel, that identity crisis, that voice asking, is this all there is? That's not a breakdown, even though it's often characterized and labeled as one. What it is your highest self, your soul, if you will, staging a revolt against a life that has been too small to contain your magnificence, to contain your power. Society wants you to believe that your best years are behind you, that you should just gracefully accept becoming invisible, settling down, and that wanting or desiring or needing more makes you ungrateful. This is patriarchal programming that's designed to keep you small. So let me be crystal clear about what's really happening at 40. Your depression isn't always just a chemical imbalance. It can also be your authentic self clawing at the walls of the prison you've built from other people's expectations. Your anxiety isn't random. It's energy with nowhere to go because you've been living someone else's life for decades. You spent 40 years being the good girl, following the script, climbing ladders that lead nowhere, or nowhere meaningful at least, pouring yourself into roles that drain your essence while society applauds your sacrifice. It applauds your playing yourself down. And now you're asking permission to finally live for yourself. So here's the truth they don't want you to know. The second half of a woman's life, when lived intentionally, contains more authentic power than all the decades before it combined. You know what younger women don't have? Wisdom earned through fire. They don't have resources that have been accumulated through decades of work. And they don't have the growing fire and courage that comes from watching time tick by, watching society change. Your 40s aren't when you become irrelevant. They're when you become dangerous to systems that require your silence. But Keisha, I don't have money to start over. This is a common objection that often comes up whenever we're talking about starting over at 40, especially for women. And the thing that is so important to understand is that starting over at 40 doesn't mean bring in a wrecking ball, bring in a bulldozer, and just leveling everything to the ground and starting from scratch. All right? Often at this age, our lives have a level of complexity to it. And we often do have tools that can be leveraged in order for us to create amazing change in our lives. It doesn't involve us lighting a match, pouring on gasoline, and just lighting everything up and burning it all to the ground, right? Starting over can look like taking pieces here, taking pieces there. And often the type of starting over that we need to do can often be put into one area of our life. And that alone can make us happy. And keep in mind, the system as it is today was never designed for women to accumulate wealth. Okay? It wasn't. And recognizing this is important. It's part of your strategy. Your real assets that you can use to leverage change, to create change, to start over, it's decades of your skills. It's your emotional intelligence. It's your crisis management abilities. It's your intuition sharpened by decades of survival. You can start over with what you have. It simply takes strategy and recognizing what is most important for you to start over. But Keisha, it's way too late for me. You don't understand. That's another common objection I hear. And I want to ask, says who? Okay, some of the most powerful women, people in history didn't begin the most important work until their 40s, until their 50s, and beyond. Your age isn't a liability. It's a weapon. It's power. So stop asking if it's too late to start over. Start asking, what magnificent version of yourself is trying to be born through the ashes of who you thought you should be? The women who look back, right, at their life before with deep satisfaction aren't those who played it safe, right? There's a saying, famous saying, that well-behaved women seldom make history. I used to have like a little keychain that said that. And there's truth in that, right? Because they're the ones who answered the call when their soul started screaming for something more. Your midlife isn't a crisis unless you want it to be. Okay? It also is a resurrection. It also is a recalibration. It also is a renaissance. And that, by definition, means you've already survived the death of who you used to be. So if these words are making your heart beat faster, if you're like, yes, this is me, this is me, I recognize myself in these words, and if something in you is saying yes, then let's talk. Then you're ready for the next step. So drop a comment below and tell me, what dreams have you buried under practicality that are now demanding to be resurrected? And if you're ready to stop asking permission to live your own life, I've got something that might change everything. So I just want you to know that your future self is waiting, right? She's powerful, she's purpose-driven, she's unafraid of her own magnificence, and it's time to meet her. So again, my name is Keisha Dent. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I am actually putting together something that I'm going to announce pretty soon. And look out for, stay tuned for that announcement. And of course, I always want you to let me know, what would you like to hear? What would you like addressed? What are you going through? And what would you like to be discussed? I'm always curious about your story. So before I go, I just want to remind you always that in order to change your life, you must first change yourself. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.